What is HTML and why do we need it? HTML is the foundation of every web page. It's the starting point of the internet as we know it today. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. But what exactly is HTML and why do we need it? In this lesson, we will explore the history, the purpose, and the role of HTML. We will also look at examples and discuss why learning HTML is important for every developer. A brief history of HTML. The first version of HTML was created in the early 1990s. It was designed by Tim Berners-Lee, the inventor of the World Wide Web. At that time, the internet was very small and very simple. The main goal of HTML was to share scientific documents between researchers. The documents needed structure, headings, and links. HTML provided that structure. Over the years, HTML has grown a lot. It now supports images, video, audio, forms, tables, and many more elements. Modern HTML is much richer than the first version. But the basic idea remains the same. HTML describes the structure of content. What HTML is and what it is not. HTML is not a programming language. It doesn't have loops, variables, or conditions. Instead, HTML is a markup language. That means it marks up text with labels to show its meaning. For example, we can mark a piece of text as a heading. We can mark another piece of text as a paragraph. We can mark a word as a link to another page. These labels tell the browser how to display the content. They also tell search engines what the content means. So HTML is about structure and meaning, not about logic or calculations. Why we need HTML? Imagine the internet without HTML. You would open a page and see only plain text. There would be no headings, no lists, no images, no structure at all. It would look like one long, boring text file. HTML solves this problem. It gives content a clear shape. It makes pages readable, attractive, and organized. Without HTML, websites would not exist in the way we know them. Every single site you visit, from small blogs to giant platforms, is built on HTML. Even if it uses other technologies like JavaScript or React, underneath it is still HTML. How HTML works in the browser. When you visit a web page, your browser downloads HTML from a server. The browser reads the HTML line by line. It builds a tree of elements. This is called the Document Object Model, or DOM. Each element in HTML becomes a node in the DOM tree. For example, a heading becomes a heading node. A paragraph becomes a paragraph node. An image becomes an image node. This tree structure allows the browser to display the page visually. It also allows other technologies like CSS and JavaScript to interact with the page. Everyday examples of HTML. Think about a news website. You see a big title at the top. Below that, you see an article with paragraphs of text. You see images, captions, and maybe a video. All of that is created with HTML. Or think about an online store. You see product names, prices, and a button to add items to your cart. That button is defined in HTML. Or think about YouTube. The video player is wrapped in HTML. The comments section is also HTML. So whether it's a simple blog or a global platform, HTML is everywhere. Structure of HTML. The basic building blocks of HTML are called elements. Most elements use two tags: an opening tag and a closing tag. Text or other elements live between them. But some elements stand alone. Both kinds of elements build the page structure together. Elements are like building blocks or Lego pieces. You can combine them to build a whole page. Some elements are block elements, like paragraphs or sections. Others are inline elements, like links or bold text. Together, they create the structure of the page. Accessibility and meaning. HTML is not only for browsers. It is also for people. Screen readers for blind users rely on correct HTML to read a page. Search engines like Google use HTML to understand a page. If you use a heading element, the search engine knows it is an important title. If you use a link element, it knows there is a connection to another page. So HTML gives meaning, not just presentation. This is why it is important to use HTML properly. Why every developer should learn HTML. You may think, HTML is too simple. Why should I learn it? The answer is, because it's everywhere. Even if you use frameworks like Angular or Vue, you are still working with HTML. Even if you write in TypeScript, at the end of the day, the code generates HTML. Without a good understanding of HTML, you will always have gaps in your knowledge. With HTML, you understand the real foundation of the web. It's like learning to walk before you run. The future of HTML. HTML continues to evolve. The current standard is HTML5. It added video, audio, and semantic elements like header, footer, and article. These elements give even more meaning to content. In the future, HTML will keep improving. But it will always stay the language of the web. It will always be the foundation of everything online. Conclusion. So what is HTML? It's the hypertext markup language. It's the structure of every web page. Why do we need it? Because without HTML, there would be no organized content, no structure, and no web. Learning HTML is the first step to becoming a web developer. It's simple, powerful, and universal. Mastering HTML opens the door to everything else: CSS, JavaScript, frameworks, and beyond. Now, let's check your understanding. Try to answer a few questions. What does HTML stand for? Why is HTML not a programming language? Can you describe what the browser does with HTML? Think about your favorite website. How do you think it uses HTML? Do you agree that HTML is the first step for every web developer? Why? Great job! Repeat the exercise later to improve your listening and speaking skills.